Hi, I'm business coach Steve Warrenson with another business tip to help you work smarter, not harder, so you can enjoy more life. Today, we are actually going to discuss a subject that's one of my favorite things that I help my business owners with, and that's guiding them to turn their dreams into reality. See, big dreams and goals, it's actually sort of scary stuff. And, maybe that's why many people don't really go and pursue them. So what really stops most of us is that we really don't know where to begin. So let's start today with a really simple formula. It's dreams times goals times plan times action equals success. So what's that multiplier? That multiplier, it's our learning, is what we learn helps us dream. But now we have to ask ourselves, what do we need to learn to turn that dream into a goal? Or our goal into our plan, or what do we need to learn to take our plan and put it into action? In business, we're going to grow to our level of incompetency and then stop. So let's take a look at the process by which learning actually happens. See, the whole process of learning, well, let's start with timing, right? How far ahead do you need to learn something? Do you need to learn something just the day before you need it? No, of course not. We need to be learning stuff at least a year prior to needing it before it's really something that we need to turn into reality. So the question is how far in advance? So I'm going to start with a really simplistic view. So if we're going to use that knowledge to create your plan, and you're going to be doing the plan, well, you're not planning something the day before it happens, right? We're planning stuff at least 90 days before it happens, maybe 6 or 12 months before it happens. So let's say that, I want to achieve something that's out in 2 years' time. You need to be studying it right now, today. So if you think about the timing of your learning, let's say, we have a goal, I don't know, 5 years from now, it's not a bad idea to start studying those things now, or at least start determining what you need to learn to be able to get there. If you want financial freedom, you got to study it today if you want it 10 or 20 years down the road. So timing is really an important factor and the timing of our study is really important. So the point is that we need to study something well before we need it. So does that make sense? Because if we wait too long and we wait till we need it, it's going to be too late. We're going to be behind the 8 ball. So now the second factor that we're going to be looking at is how much do I actually have to learn or study something? How much do I really need to understand? Do I need to become an expert at everything? Well, let's look at this from a very simple perspective. And the question is, are you going to be doing it yourself, or are you going to hire somebody to do it for you? If you're doing it yourself, then obviously you need to study it to a level of mastery. You need to study it to the level of, let's say what Malcolm Gladwell says in his book Outliners. You need to study it to a level of 10,000 hours. You need to study it to a level where you're great at it and not just okay at it. I'm going to let you in on the secret. If you're going to employ somebody, if you're going to hire someone to do the stuff, then you just need to know enough about it to determine whether that person that you're employing, that you're hiring, is actually good at that job. Too often we employ people who have never studied or know much about the position. If we're employing a salesperson, we need to know enough about sales to ask them enough questions to determine if they're going to be good in sales or not. And this is an important factor for all of us to understand. Is it mastery, or do we just need to know enough to employ somebody with that knowledge? Next, we need to understand how we learn best. Do you learn best by books, reading or listening, or by listening to seminars, whether they're live or recorded, or by having a mentor? Do you learn best by watching videos like TED Talks or these business tip videos that I put out? What is your best learning methodology? Because the speed of your learning is going to determine the speed by which you actually get your results. So the faster you learn, the faster you're going to get results. For me personally, I'm better at learning when I have somebody personally teaching me. I like watching or reading about something, but I need to discuss it with somebody before it really starts sticking. So I like to have mentors or coaches helping me with that. But, of course, you have to realize the more individualized the learning, the more of an investment it is. Like online videos and books, they're going to be the cheapest because they're the lowest level of learning. Why? because there's really no individualization going on. You are now have to use your time to think of how you're going to apply that knowledge to your business or your life. So you need to choose what learning methodology or methodologies that really suit you best in your speed and your budget. So now the fourth thing that we need to understand about learning is that there's learning to add skill, but there's also learning to add mindset. Some learning is about just getting better, better at doing some sort of thing, like maybe it's sales. It might prove a sales technique like asking questions or that sort of thing, right? But on top of that, you need the mindset learning stuff. Mindset learning is really about believing in yourself. The same as believing in the ability to achieve stuff and looking at it from that perspective, you want to have really a balance of those two. You want to have some of your learning that needs to be, skill set, and some of it that needs to be about getting your brain in the right place. Now, finally, the fifth thing that we have to learn about learning really is understanding that learning is uncomfortable, because learning is about growing. It's about getting to somewhere new. You won't be applying this new knowledge perfectly the first time. Like if I go off and I want to take golf lessons, I'm not going to immediately be hitting the ball like Tiger Woods. So when we learn something new and then begin to apply it, it's not always going to be easy, and we're going to fail. We may fail. This is where we're going to start expanding our comfort zone as we begin to change. So the best way to cement that learning is to have a coach or to have someone with you or a mentorship group or something like that to hold you accountable to apply your learning. So because now you're required, you're accountable, and therefore you're going to get results. As Jim Rohn would say, the more you learn, the more you earn, the more you learn, the better you become at something. If you want to be the best leader or the best manager, you got to keep studying and learning about it. Even if every book, video, or coaching session just gives you one idea, that's one more idea than you had the day before to be able to build on. So you want you to think, if this resonates with you and you want to turn those dreams into reality, I invite you to schedule a free strategy session with me to begin to unlock your knowledge and your potential and build the business of your dreams. I'm business coach Steve Goranson, working with real people, achieving real results.